What's good, everybody? For those that don't know who I am, allow me to introduce myself. For those that already know who I am, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Jordan Phoenix, but y'all can just call me JP for short, and you are now watching/listening to JPWR. That's Jordan's Pro Wrestling Reviews. Now today I'll be covering the latest episode of NXT from November 22nd, 2022. And man, I love this show. I was wrong about NXT. Last review I said I haven't really watched NXT since NXT 2.0 started. And I must say I actually sat down and watched the whole show last night, and I loved every bit, man. So if y'all want to know what I thought about all the matches and all the backstage promos and stuff, just stay tuned. Kicking off the show with Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane, and I must say they all look phenomenal tonight, man. Mandy Rose's outfit kind of reminded me of Britney Spears' outfit from the Oops, I Did It Again music video. But anyways, Mandy Rose basically recounts about what happened last week with her last woman standings match against Alba Fire, and we all know how that ended with Isla Dawn making her NXT return and costing Alba the match. But she also makes comments about her 400-day reign, and she says she'll be watching NXT Deadline very closely, because she says the winner will not take her title, in which I do agree, because I think that Indi Hartwell is going to be the one to win the Iron Survivor Challenge match, but we'll talk about that in another video. But basically, that's about it for what Mandy says. Then Gigi and JC call out Casey and Kaden. I say Casey because I still call her Casey Catanzaro, but I know her name has changed. But anyways, they call them out, and the tag team champions actually come out, so let's see what happens. So Kaden and Katana, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, come out, and they call Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction fake, and they said she still champion because of Isla Dawn, which is true because we all know Isla went and pushed Alba Fire off the ladder onto the announce table. But anyways, JC then interrupts them and said they're the ones that made the tag team titles relevant with her and Gigi Dolan, and a brawl breaks out basically, and to end it all, Toxic Attraction stands tall. And I must say, I love Toxic Attraction. I'm getting back into NXT because this is the first time I've actually watched the NXT show since 2.0 started. And like I said in the intro, I loved every bit. So let's get more into the show. Next, we get NXT North American Champion Wesley arriving to the arena as he prepares for his upcoming match with Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American Championship. But nothing major from this little backstage promo. It's basically just him walking into the arena. He's confronted by Tony D'Angelo, and D'Angelo just reminds him like, hey, I haven't forgot about what you done to me. And since I haven't watched NXT, I don't know what he did, so if somebody could please just let me know what he did. But that's about it for this segment. So before we hop into the first match of the night, which was Wendy Chu versus Cora Jade, we get a backstage segment with Grayson Waller and Duke Hudson of Chase University. And it's basically Grayson asking like, what's wrong with the old Duke Hudson, basically, because I guess Duke Hudson wasn't a part of Chase University before Chase U was a thing. So like I said, I'm getting back into NXT, so forgive me if I don't know these cats' names, or if I get them wrong, or if I don't know the storylines. But it's basically just Grayson Waller trying to be like, hey, where's the old Duke Hudson? And that's it for this part. Alright, so jumping into the first match of the night with Wendy Chu versus Cora Jade. Not really much I want to discuss about this match. I do want to say I'm not really feeling this Wendy Chu chick. I guess her gimmick is supposed to be like she's like a child, or she represents sleeping or whatever, because I saw she was like dressed in pajamas and the whole childish gimmick. But anyways, the end of the match was pretty good. Cora Jade distracts the ref with her, I guess her baseball bat or whatever pipe, whatever she had. And the ref goes to take it out, but as he turns around, she grabs Wendy Chu's drink and throws it in her face and gets the win. And the ref was like, at the end, he noticed it was wet and stuff, but he couldn't do nothing because he already called the match. But at the end of the match, they also showed Wendy Chu having like a mental breakdown, so I guess he's gonna build up her character. So let's see how that goes. So jumping into a promo with Apollo Crews. Nothing much from this promo. It's basically just recapping his career in NXT, and it's talking about how he wants to rewrite the story where he never finished in his original run in NXT. He wants to win the NXT Championship. And as we know, he has a match coming up with Braun, I believe, at Deadline. If I'm not mistaken, if not Deadline, it's on the NXT taping. But anyways, yeah, nothing much. Like I said, it's just a recap of him saying like, hey, I want to win the title I never won when I was here. And that's about it. Next, we hop into a backstage interview with Mackenzie Mitchell and Kiana James. And I don't remember what Kiana James was talking about, but this guy named Javier Bernal, if I'm saying it right, forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, he brings his list, and I think his gimmick is supposed to be he wants to challenge people, but everybody he challenges is either injured or retired. And that's basically about it. And I must say, I love this Mackenzie Mitchell chick, man. It's just her energy. I love her energy because, she was always like down in Javier Bernal when he was like hey, I want to fight this guy. She's like, oh, well, he's injured and all that. So yeah, she's a pretty good backstage interviewer. Coming at you with the second match of the night with Diamond Mines Ivy now taking on Kiana James. And I do want to point out, before their match started, we had got a backstage segment with Chase U and Pretty Deadly, the NXT Tag Team Champions. But to sum it all up, a brawl had broke out. But if y'all want to know what happened with them, stay tuned. But anyways, back to the match. Forgive me because I don't know the storylines or who these young ladies are at the moment. I have to catch up with NXT now that I'm getting back into it for y'all. But anyways, I wrote on my notes that Tatum Paxley, she was accompanying somebody at ringside, but I can't remember who. And I wrote Fallon, and I can't remember who that was either. But anyways, Fallon comes out. Someone I love, Ivy wins the match. And after the match, a lady attacks Kiana. I can't remember the young lady's name. But anyways, after that, Diamond Mine comes out. The Creed brothers come out, and they cut a promo in their shirt. So if y'all want to know what they said in the promo, stay tuned. Alright, so to make a long story short, the Creed brothers just come out and they call out In The Shirt and they challenge him to a match at NXT Deadline. So do y'all think In The Shirt is going to accept? Let me know down below. Alright, so before the third match, which was Scripps making his NXT debut, we get a promo of Asla Dawn just basically talking about why she attacked Alba Fire and everything that happened from last week. So not really much I can say about this little promo or vignette, whatever you want to call it. So on to the next part. And here we are with a long-awaited debut of Scripps. And when I saw this guy at first, I was like, who is this guy with this Party City Halloween costume on? But when I looked at him more, I laughed even harder because I realized that it was Reggie, formerly known as Reginald, who used to be with Carmella, and he's a former 24/7 champion. But anyways, before that, we also did get a backstage segment with Chase U, and it was basically Duke Hudson telling Andre Chase, I believe the young man's name is, that he got them an NXT tag match with Pretty Deadly tonight too, from what happened with Pretty Deadly backstage a while back. So let's see what happened with that later on in the video. But to continue with the Scripps debut, Scripps got the win, and Reggie looked pretty good, man. He hasn't missed a beat, so let's see what's next for Scripps. Now, I do want to point out, he has this thing to where every time he defeats his opponent, I guess he's going to put like a little tag on with his name on it. So I don't know if he's supposed to be like another dark gimmick, but it looks like some Lucha Underground type stuff. So let's see where the Scripps gimmick goes. Are y'all feeling it? Are y'all glad to see Reggie back? Let me know. We didn't get the Schism, and I want to say the Schism kind of looks like a knockoff Judgment Day to me. But basically they talk about, I guess, their version of Thanksgiving. There's not really much I want to say about this segment because I didn't really understand what was going on. But basically Ava Rain grabs this guy from the crowd who's probably a performance center trainer or whatever. But anyways, she grabs this guy from the crowd, and the crowd automatically starts chanting sacrifice because I guess they know what's about to happen. And well, that's what happened. Joe Gacy just continues talking about, I guess, their version of Thanksgiving, and it basically ends with Joe Gacy hitting the Uranagi to the guy through a table, and that's about it. Fourth match of the night, we got one of my favorites, Zoe Stark taking on Sol Ruka. But before that, we got a promo with Braun Breaker, and I'm not going to really say much about that because it's basically just Braun Breaker fishing. But anyways, before the match, Sol Ruka cuts a promo on Zoe Starks on TikTok because that's what professional wrestlers do now. But anyways, Zoe wins, and she tries to attack Sol, but Nikita Line comes out and basically rescues her. Now, I do want to say, I love this Sol Ruka lady, man. I was watching her during the match, and she was really great. She was really good, so I can't wait to see what NXT holds in store for her next. But yeah, nothing much about this match. This is just continuing to build up for Zoe and Nikita. So let's see where their feud goes. We then hop into the NXT backstage parking lot, one of the most dangerous places on earth, if I remember correctly. But basically nothing major from this. It was Von Wagner and Robert Stone or Rob Stone. See, I'm learning, man. I'm trying to get these names right. And he basically got confronted by Rob and Malik and Odyssey Jones. I think they were trying to get him to party with them outside because they were like, hey, we have women and stuff. But Von Wagner wasn't having any of it. He basically ends up attacking both of them, and he tries to rip the young man's shirt off. I don't know the young man's name yet. And that was it for this segment. Yeah, as y'all know, the NXT parking lot is one of the most unsafe areas in the world. So never be in an NXT parking lot because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get laid out. So we then get into the next match of the night, which is Chase U taking on Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championship. But before that, we get a little vignette of this young man named Charlie Dempsey. And I must say, from what they show, I'm loving this guy. He's basically this ruthless, aggressive guy that doesn't take stuff from nobody, and he just comes in and he demolishes everybody. So not really much I can say about this right now until we see more of him in action, but I am liking what I see. This kind of reminded me of You know how we got Austin, the new Austin Theory on Raw, where he's just like, hey, I'm not taking BS no more. I'm not about to BS no more. I'm just here to take names and win titles. And that's what this Charlie Dempsey guy kind of reminded me of. So let's see how his NXT career goes. He seems to be pretty interesting. So here we are with the NXT Tag Team Championship match with Duke Hudson and Andre Chase of Chase University taking on Pretty Deadly. And I don't remember much from this match because I don't know the young lady's name who was accompanied with Chase U. But anyways, at one point in the match, one of the young men from Pretty Deadly is outside the ring and they try to run away, but they accidentally knock the young lady down. So Duke Hudson runs out the ring to go check on her, and it almost costs them the match because Andre Chase gets rolled up, but he kicks out. And then at the end, Duke accidentally hits Andre, and that cost them the match, and Pretty Deadly picks up the win. It was a pretty good match, and I enjoyed every bit, so I do need to get back into NXT once again. So I'm going to watch it so I can start learning these young men and women's names and start understanding these storylines and see where everything goes. Both of these teams seem pretty good, and from what I've seen, Chase University is the most over thing in NXT. It looked like it to me because I saw so many Chase U shirts and stuff. So let's see what's next for Chase University and Pretty Deadly. Alright, so before we hop in the main event with Wesley taking on Carmelo Hayes, we go backstage to check on Kaden and Katana, and they're basically still ticked off about what happened earlier on in the night. But basically, Nikita Lyons, she comes and she's like, hey, if y'all need somebody to help fight out Toxic Attraction, then I'm your girl. And that basically sums up everything. So next week, we're going to get the NXT Tag Team Champions Kaden and Katana and Nikita Lyons taking on Toxic Attraction. So who do y'all think is going to pick up the win next week? Do y'all think it's going to be Toxic Attraction, or do the Tag Team Champions and Nikita Lyons prevail? And I must say, I love the NXT Tag Team Division. The Women's Tag Team Division is so much better than the main roster. The main roster needs to take notes. So let's see what's next for all these young women. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the main event, Wesley and Carmelo Hayes. We got Wesley defending his NXT North American Championship against Carmelo Hayes. And I must say, this was match of the night. For this to be my first show of NXT that I've watched in a while, I'm glad that I was able to witness this match. Wesley is very underrated. We all know his former tag team partner is no longer in NXT, so it's nice to see him getting a little singles run and he's getting used properly. And we all know how good Carmelo is. These are two of NXT's finest, as Booker T stated last week. But anyways, this match was phenomenal. They had a bunch of phenomenal sequences because, you know, these are two high flyers going at it. But to sum it all up, Wesley retained. And at one point, Trick Williams had came out, and I forgot to mention earlier in the video that there was a backstage segment where Wes was talking to Trick, and he was like, hey, I know you ain't gonna interfere, right? Because I know Carmelo don't need you. And he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna interfere, but he ends up coming out, but Wesley took care of him real quick. But yeah, Wesley retained, and he celebrates, but his celebration is then cut short. Y'all wanna know what happened? Stay tuned. That's right, Dominic Dijakovic, formerly known as T-Bar, but we ain't gonna talk about that, makes his triumphant return to NXT. I think now he goes by Dijak, but to sum it all up, the show basically ends with him hitting the botched Feast Your Eyes on Wesley, but we ain't gonna talk about that because I love the guy so much. And if y'all want to see any of this guy's work, I definitely recommend watching his work in PWG and his matches with Keith Lee, because for this guy's physique, you'll be amazed at some of the stuff he can do. But yeah, the show basically ends with Dijak standing tall over Wesley. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my review of the latest episode of NXT from November 22nd. I'm going to keep my intro short again today. So with that said, if y'all have anything out there y'all want to do in life, go out there and chase your dreams, man. We're not getting any younger. And if nobody's there to support you, I'm here to support you. But with that said, y'all have a good one. Be safe. JP out.